will run super fast. Berhanu Belu. There are pacemakers as well. Berhanu Belu is second to the right there. The first red vest to the right of picture. He is running for Bahrain. Third here last year in 13:12 in the 5K. This, of course, is the 10K. We're expecting a winning time of around 27 minutes, something like that. They've got 2 minutes to go. Belu, well, he's super fast on the track. 7:31 indoors. He holds the area record for Bahrain and that region, Middle East. But he also has enormous strength as well. And great speed. Fourth in the 5K here, back in 2022. On his day, he can beat almost anyone, Berhanu Belu. And as I say, fifth in the 5K here a couple of years ago. Rodrigue Quizera is also there. Third last year, the Burundian. Third here in 2022. And third in the 5K here in 23. So he's got a record, 3 consecutive third places at 5K or 10K over the last three years. And he's in great form, this Rodrigue Quizera. Won the Prague half marathon 3 weeks ago in a 58:54, a new national record. He won it with a sprint too. He's a fast finisher. Let's have a look at them. There he is, Quizera, in fabulous form. The bearded Burundian. And Nicholas Kipkorea Kimeli with a best of 26:51. That was in Brasov, Romania, 3 years ago. He's the defending champion. He won last year in 27:05, a very close finish, where the first 4 were within 4 seconds of each other, just outside 27 minutes. There he is, perhaps the pre-race favourite. He is the defending champion. As I said, it's 7 full laps plus a 994-metre run-in for these fellas. They start on the long straight between the Novena and Podium buildings here on the Adidas campus. And they are underway. We have the racing started here at the 2025 edition, the 5th edition of the Adizero Road to Records. Great road surface. They have ensured that some of the corners that in the past have been a little bit tight, that means a slowing down and loss of rhythm for the athletes. They've ensured that some of those corners are slightly more curved and more gentle and more sympathetic for the athletes than in years gone by. 2 pacemakers out there. There are Shadrach Kipkoech and Gudesa Muleta. And looking to take these fellas out at, well, a super fast tempo. Around 240, 242 per kilometre. We will get the kilometre splits, hopefully, appearing. And if not, then I should have them on the computers here if everything, all the wiring's joined up. And I'll be able to give you the progress of the athletes through the race. But they do need to start fast. It is a bit cooler than we expected here this morning. It is also a little bit windier than we expected here this morning. So these athletes have got to go out perhaps a little bit more aggressively than they planned. Tadesse Worku has tucked in right behind the 2 pacemakers there. You can see him in between the 2 black vests. He's going with this early tempo. Just a minute and a half on the clock now. And already some athletes beginning to struggle with this tempo. Athletes flown in by Adidas from all over the world. They're at different territories. And of course, therefore, quite a spread of abilities. 1 or 2 athletes in here who have not gone too far under 30 minutes. But the very best of them, well, they've gone below 27, and many, many athletes here have gone below 28. And already a very clear separation between that leading pack. Just over 2 minutes on the clock. And it does look like Tadesse Worku, the 23-year-old Ethiopian, who was a second here back in 2021, is the man most up for it. He's going with the pacemakers here. And they've completed that first 3/4 lap, so to speak. 2.5 minutes on the clock as they come past us here at the finish line. They go through the finish line arch, and now they have 7 full laps to run. And Tadesse Well, he is Tadesse Worku. He's building a bit of a gap between the pack. He's right up there with the two pacemakers, building a bit of a gap back to that pack. And he does look hungry for this. He's very, very strong. My notes say he may push the second half, but he's pushing it early on here, and that's good. I love the honesty of that. Well, that first kilometre, 2:42. That projected finish time then, 27:04. And that's very promising indeed if the pack can get up with him. We need there to be a race up at the front end, so it's a long, lonely circuit for him if he's to be out there on his own. But 2:42 is pretty much spot on. If they can get under 27 here, that would be quite fabulous. The meeting record, so to speak, is 26:42 by Ronix Kipruto, the world record holder. He didn't break the world record. He ran 26:42 here in Herzog back in September 21 when it was an end of summer road race meeting. His world record 26:24 was set in Valencia the previous year, back in January 2020. So it's been around a little while now, that world record. It's only a matter of time before it's broken. Now the pack beginning to get up with Tadesse Worku getting closer to him. Gemechu it is now, up at the front end. Gemechu Deriba, 25-year-old Ethiopian, a best of 27:12. That was in Lille in March last year. He's a good track racer, good track pedigree. Fabulous on the half marathon too. He's run a 58:39 half marathon. Remember, a half marathon, 21k, over twice this distance. So he has enormous strength, good speed too. He's a 7:42 performer indoors at 3,000. And listen to this. Gemechu Deriba, who is right up there at the front end at the moment, won the Berlin half marathon 3 weeks ago in 58:43. He missed the course record by 1 second, but anything down under 59 minutes for a half marathon, super fast. And he's attacking this. He was only 7th here last year, and he looks like he's hungry for a much better position than that. Well, that is the shoe most of the athletes are wearing, the Adidas Pro 4. 2:38, that second kilometre. It's accelerated. That's wonderful. 26:42, the projected winning time. And that is exactly on the meeting record by Kipruto here in Herzog in September 21. That was on a tougher circuit with a much bigger hill here on the campus. They've shortened the circuit. They pretty much make a nice circle here on the campus. 7 full laps they've got to do after that initial couple of minutes negotiating the first half lap. And this pack are pushing hard to try and go with those leaders. Jafeth Kipkemboy Kozgai there, beginning to get left a little bit. He's a 28:57 performer. But I'll tell you what, when they're stretched out this much with only 6.5 minutes on the clock, you know it's aggressive racing up at the front end. Look at the tempo there by Gemechu Deriba. Left of picture. He is absolutely flying, this man. And he is super consistent at the half marathon. Listen to this. He's run 7 half marathons, 6 of them under 60 minutes. He's fabulously consistent at the half marathon, and he has got enormous strength. Now, I mentioned he was only 7th here last year. He doesn't want to get caught up in any sprinting at the tail end. He wants to make this a real test of strength. And critically, and I mentioned earlier how important confidence is, the mindset of these athletes. His confidence is sky high after that Berlin half marathon win, 58:43. On a cold morning in Berlin, 3 weeks back, 58.43. Missed the course record by 1 second, very frustratingly. Indeed, when he crossed the line, it looked like he'd broken it by 1 second, but the time was adjusted. And he's not afraid of not thinking about the others, is he? No dependence upon the pack. Setting his own tempo here. Really well muscled in the legs as well. He's got a fabulous physique. So many of the East African great distance runners, some of the legends like Paul Turgat are long and lean, or at least they were in their day. I saw Paul Turgat last year at the Olympic Games, and he's definitely got a retired appearance about him, let's say. But so many of the East Africans are long and lean when they're in their best racing form. But Gemechu Diriba, well, he looks fabulously muscled, more like a middle distance racer. Well, 2:44 that last kilometre, 26:53 is the projected winning time. They've gone through 3,000 there. See if we can pull up these splits.
Hi Adidas, Road to Records 2025. Hier sind die Top-Athleten über die 10 Kilometer.
3K in 8:04 was the split, and that is quick, really quick. Gemechu here, it's almost like he's enticing the others. He's almost like a carrot being dangled out in front of them, because he's the one dragging them along. He has a little look over his shoulder there to see what sort of damage he's done. Rodrigue Quizera is there, Berhanu is there, so is Beraket as well. That's good running from him as they come past us here by the finish line. 6 laps to go, 9 minutes on the clock. There you can see that map, top right of your screen, the circuit they are negotiating here at the Adidas campus in Herzogenaurach. Well, this pack of 4 working very hard. And there's no doubt about it, this is going to be quick this morning. It does seem, from the splits they've churned out over the last 10 minutes, because they've been going for 10.5 minutes now, that the wind isn't really affecting these fellas too much. Maybe they're a little bit more sheltered there. My commentary position here is a slightly raised platform by the finish line, a little bit exposed. Now I have to tell you, it's decidedly cool on this Saturday morning. It is only 9:10 local time. It will warm up. Indeed, the forecast was for today to be a lovely sunny day, but it's, well, let's just say, if that cloud does get burnt off, it's going to take a little while through this morning. But Gemechu Diriba, with a best of 27:12, is on tempo here. The last kilometre at 2:41. He's on schedule for a personal best here. That 4th kilometre at 2:41. And that's a projected finishing time of 26:53. It would be ideal if he could get a little bit of assistance here, but this is his choice to push on hard like this out in front, using that half marathon strength. The strange thing is that that gap between him and this quartet hasn't grown. One man out in front, the pack of 4 trying to run him down, or at least live with this tempo he's dictating at the moment. Berhanu Belu there to the right of this front pairing, and Rodrigue Quizera is there just in the front now of this chasing quartet. He's got a small beard. He was 3rd here last year in 27:07. Quizera, and he is in fabulous form. Remember, said he won that Prague half marathon 3 weeks ago in 58:54 with a sprint, a perfectly timed sprint, and he has got good speed. Quizera, 13:04 for 5,000. So the 5K split is significant. That's coming up in less than a minute's time. The pace has been pretty solid. Not super consistent, but it's consistent enough. It's gone 2:42, 2:38, 2:44, 2:41. And what's this fifth kilometre going to be? They'll be looking here for something around 13:30 at 5K. And Quizera, of this, what was a quartet, have they dropped somebody? Yes, they have. 3 now in the chasing group, and they will not let Gemechu Diriba build a gap. They're staying all the time, that sort of 20 yards, 20 meters or so behind him. Maybe it's 20, 25 meters. I don't know if it's growing or not. But looking for that 5K split now. And it looks like they've gone through 5K in 13:29. That is super quick. Sub 27 tempo. Obviously, a projected finishing time of 26:57, 26:58, certainly below 28 minutes. But somebody else surely is going to have to help Diriba out there in front make this tempo right. Don't think the world record is in sight. Kipruto's 26:24 in Valencia back in 2020 was extraordinary. In Valencia, of course, one of those Spanish cities like Castellón and Barcelona and 1 or 2 others that are producing super fast times year after year now, race after race. Conditions down in the Mediterranean countries are so often ideal. Not in the full height of the summer, but in the winter months when Northern Europe is freezing. Down in Southern Europe, you still get those lovely days of between 10 and 15 degrees centigrade, and on flat courses with little wind, conditions couldn't be much better. The crowd building quite significantly down around the finish area here as Diriba pushes on. Nearly 15 minutes on the clock now. That 5K split, 13:29, very promising. If they can wind it up here, start racing and maybe go quicker through the second half, we could see significantly under 27 minutes. I don't know if Ronix Kipruto's meeting record is under threat. I don't think so. 26:42, probably beyond them after that 5K split. That was back in 2021. But the racing is quite superb at the moment. Still, Diriba out in front, leading the tempo. No change, single file now, more or less, because of this aggressive running from the Ethiopian. We understand Diriba, the leader here, had stomach problems last night, and yet, doesn't look like it to me. He's running superbly. What would he be doing if he didn't have stomach problems last night? That's the question. He's sticking to his game plan, though, isn't he? This is the sort of tactic that you think about for days, maybe weeks, before a race. You want to run aggressively. You want to make sure the tempo is really fast and honest. And if others want to go with him, be up alongside him, that's fine. That's up to them. But he's making it very, very tough for them. 2:44 for that 6th kilometre. Same time as the 3rd kilometre. Quizera still looks the keenest for me. Rodrigo Quizera still looks the keenest of those in the chasing pack to go with Gemechu Dida. He's doing the aggressive running. The others are behind him, hanging onto him now. But this is the 3rd quarter of the race, and psychologically, this is absolutely critical. This is the toughest part of the race. Through the first half, you're reasonably fresh. You should be running within yourself. In the final quarter, the last lap and a half or so, you will be sort of psychologically aware that the finish is within sight, that you can really give 100%. This 3rd quarter of the race is the toughest because it's the one where you're tired, the finish is still a long way away, and these questions keep creeping into your mind. But Rodrigo Quizera, well, after that Prague half marathon win 3 weeks back and his 3rd place here last year, he knows this circuit. Indeed, he was third here in the 5K back in 2023. He's finished third on each of the last 3 times he's raced here. He was third in 22 in the 10K, third in the 5K in 23, third last year in the 10K. So Quizera pushing hard here. I would imagine in the back of his mind he's thinking, I will not be third again. I will not be third again. I want to be better than that. But first is a tall order at the moment because Gemichu Diriba has been punching out a super fast tempo, and I'm just trying to see where he is because those 3 now are right behind the timing vehicle. I'm wondering if he's dropped out, actually. So here are the trio leading, and I'm just trying to see where Gemichu, he's back with them now. They have sucked him in. Yeah, he's at the back of this trio, and he has eased back on the throttle. He'd worked so hard for some 15 minutes out in front on his own, and he must have eased back in this latest kilometre. We're in this 7th kilometre now. That last kilometre, 2:44. Again, it has slowed a little bit. He projected finishing time 27:03 still. With Gemichu there is third from left. Rodrigo Quizera second to left. And now
So here they are.
We've got 5 in it. They come past us very shortly at the finish line. There is Gemichu, Rodrigo Quizera, Behanu it is, who's in 3rd place. And they're actually on the point of lapping athletes now. Such is the speed they're moving at, these men. They come through in front of us, 2 laps to go. The lead vehicle, there you see it with a camera on it, shows them the time of their last kilometre, and it shows them their projected time, so they're constantly getting loads of information. 5 fellas in it, big gap behind them, and anybody's race now. It doesn't look like it's going to be a world record, it doesn't look like it's going to be a meeting record. It will be a course record in effect, because this is an adjusted circuit. So on a new circuit, this is a course record, but it matters not. The most important thing here now is that you've got 5 men moving at about 27-minute tempo, super fast, and a brilliant race building. Rodrigo Quizera to the left of picture. Some people would be putting money on him. He was 3rd here last year. He's Mr. Consistent, my notes say beside his name. And we know he's in wonderful form. Produced great performances, 3rd places over 5K and 10K here. This is his 4th consecutive year racing in Herzegovina. And now Nicholas Kipkore-Kimeli hits the front for the first time. He is the fastest in the field with that 26:51 in Brasov, Romania 3 years ago. He is the defending champion. And has he timed this one perfectly as they go into the last lap and a half? He won last year in 27:05. And we're looking for that 8K split now. I don't think I missed it. It'll come up very shortly. In fact, the 8K has just gone by. And unofficially, it looks like 21:52 at 8K. That's 5 miles, by the way, a little bit quicker than the traffic in your local big city. 2:44 for that kilometre, the 8th kilometre. So they have slowed a little bit. 5K was reached in 13:29 with Gemichu Diriba out in front. Then he began to tire in the last 3 kilometres, each of them, the 6th, 7th, 8th kilometres have been 2:44 per split. And we have a fabulous race building now. He set it up so well, did Gemichu Diriba. But is he going to get reward for that early front-running aggression? Nicholas Kipkore-Kimeli second in the Prefontaine 10,000 meters last year in Eugene, Oregon, that big track gathering every year. He ran 26.50 there, a personal best, but he had a disappointing Olympics, did Nicholas Kipchoge-Kemeili. Only 14th in Paris last summer, over 10,000 meters. He produced a great run in the autumn. He was third in the Delhi half marathon in 59.59. 60 minutes, the benchmark of world-class racing these days on the over the half marathon distance. He was fourth in the world cross country in Belgrade last year. He's fabulous in all services. He's the complete runner, is Nicholas Kemeili. Great on track, road and country, and for me that means so much. They come down past us now with 1 lap to go, about 23:35 on the clock as they go through the final circuit coming. 7 full laps they had to complete with the first 2/3 of a lap, so they've got about 1,200 meters to go, about 3 minutes to run, and it is going to be very close to 27 minutes. It would be lovely to see them go under 27 minutes again here today. In history, 25 men have broken 27 minutes on the road, 13 of them Kenyans, 5 of them Ethiopians, 2 Ugandans. You can understand from those stats that dominance of the East Africans. We're on the final circuit now, and it's still Kwizera at the front. The bearded Burundian leading now, and these 3 beginning to get away, and the early leader, Gemichu Diriba, is one of the 3. And Nicholas Kipchoge-Kemeili is just to the right there of this group. He's latched onto them, but is he struggling to stay with them? This is now becoming a tactical final lap, because 4 with about 800 meters to run. 2 laps of the track outdoors, if you want to put it in stadium athletics terms. And Nicholas Kipchoge-Kemeili there towards the back of the group. Is he struggling? Rodrigo Kwizera, we know he's in fabulous form. Remember that sprint finish to win the Prague half marathon 3 weeks ago. Very soon they'll take the final right-hand turn and come into the new finishing straight, 180 meters long, dead straight towards the finish line. We'll get a wonderful view of it, and it does look like Kipchoge-Kemeili is losing ground on this trio. He's back in 4th place. They've got about 400 meters to run, 25.5 minutes on the clock, maybe slightly more than that. Gemichu, you sort of want him to win, don't you? Your heart wants him to win because he made the early running. He led through 5K in 13:29, did so much of the early work. But Bihranu will be a real danger here, the 29-year-old Bahrainian. Don't forget him, he's a 26.57 performer. He won the 5K here 2 years ago. He was 3rd here last year in the 5K, the former Ethiopian. And we're back to 4. And now Nicholas Kipchoge-Kemeili to the right there. Looks like he's got his sprint on. They haven't yet entered the finishing straight. And Bihranu kicks hard, the Bahrainian. On his day, my notes say he can beat anyone. And he may do that here today in Herzogenaurach. What a sprint from him. Here he goes. The final turn and into the finishing straight. And he's timed that to perfection. He has the finish line in sight. But Hanu Bailey of Bahrain kicks for the line and he's away. And surely they're not going to get back to him now. Gemichu in 2nd. Kwizera in 3rd. Punching towards the line here. Pushing really hard. He's going to take this one by a small margin. And look at the clock. It is going to be quick. It's going to be way, way below 27 minutes. 26:48, 49, 27. Under 26 minutes there, 26:53 perhaps unofficially. That is super quick. That is one of the fastest times in history by this man. Absolutely superb. That quite possibly is the in the top 10 fastest times in history. It makes him about the 10th fastest man in history. Wow. Brilliant racing, brilliantly fast racing here to kick off the day at this 5th edition of the Adizero Road to Records 2025. Incredible finish. I don't think there's ever been a mass finish of 4 men coming way under 27 minutes like that in history. I think that was the greatest mass finish in a 10K that's ever been. That was just supreme. Well, what a way to start the day here in Herzogenaurach. We're waiting for confirmation of that finishing time. But Berhanu Beylu looks like 26:54 is the official winning time. Boy, oh boy. The crowd loving it. There it is, confirmation of the win for the Bahrainian, 26:54. The first three on the same time. Deriba, the only leader, in second. Quizera in third, 26:54 for Burundi. And Kipkore Kameli, the best of the Kenyans, 26:56 in fourth place. Well, can you believe it? No Kenyan in the first three. I'm not sure that's happened here before.
Berhanu, you won the first race here today at Road to Records and set a national record. Congratulations. Tell us about your race.
የመጀመሪያውን ውድድር አሸንፈሃል። ስለ ውድድርህ እስቲ ንገረን።
በጣም ደስ ብሎኛል በማሸነፌ። ናሽናል ሪከርድም ሰብሬያለሁ። ቤስት ሰዓቴንም ሮጫለሁ። በጣም ደስ ይለኛል። በተኮችንም በጣም ማመስገን ፈልጋለሁ።
He says he is very happy. He wins Road to Records, the first race, and he did national record. Today he say very, very happy for it. Okay.
He waited so patiently until that last turn to really put his big move on. What was he thinking? Was he relaxed? Was he intense? What was going on in his mind?
እስከ መጨረሻው በጣም ራስን ጠብቀህ መጨረሻ ላይ አሸነፍክ። ለምንድን ነው እንደዚህ ያደረግከው?
የተባልኩትን ኮች የሰጠኝን ነው ያደረኩት። ራስን ጠብቀህ ለማሸነፍ ስላለኝ እሱን ያደረኩት እንጂ ሌላ ነገር አስቤ አይደለም።
I listen only my coach advice to wait at last lap. And I did that one and I succeed what they advised me.
Well, congratulations. What a show you just put on for us. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Well, he did what his coach advised him. And behind every coach, of course, there is a team. And the coach gave him the perfect advice this morning to take that title. Beylu Berhanu of Bahrain, the former Ethiopian, 26:54, an area record for the Middle East, that is. And Gemichu Diriba Dida, 26:54, a personal best for him in second. And Rodrigo Quizera of Burundi, a national record for him in third, 26:54 as well. Almost inseparable, the first three. In fourth place, 26:56. Didn't even make the rostrum. Nicholas Kipkore Kameli, 26:56 for Kenya. Well, the women coming next, and their engines are revving. Their race due off very shortly. We have a super strong field in that women's race, and there are big hopes of super fast times in that one as well. Perhaps even, dare whisper it, perhaps a world record, because the main light, the leading light in the women's 10K is the world record holder, 24-year-old Agnes Ngetic of Kenya, who in a mixed 10K ran 28:46 in Valencia. Just last October, not long ago. There is Spencer Nell writing the time, I think, of the winner. Yeah, 26:54. An area record and a national record as well, of course, for the winner there, Berhanu Beylu. Didn't he kick hard? It was a kick worthy of a gold medal in the major championships. It may not have been they do love They're racing here at Adidas. They love their fast performances as well. And if you can combine the two, you've got the perfect mix, the perfect concoction. And that's what's been served up already here. Well, Spencer Nell, man who puts his whole year, an awful lot of energy into ensuring these top athletes sponsored by Adidas get plenty of great shoes, plenty of great gear, and are guided towards the big races by their coaches and their support teams. And he, of course, in his element here, being able to write the winning time on the shoes there of the athlete Berhanu Belu, 26.54. It gives validation, of course, to his and his whole team here in Herzogenaurach. Yeah, that is special, 26.54. Like I said, only a small number of men in history have gone below 27 minutes. And this morning we've seen 4 of them do it in this one first race. Indeed, before today, only 37 times ever has 27 minutes been broken by 25 different men over the 10k distance on the roads. Only 37 times, or he can add another 4 to that number after this morning.
Not bad for a Sunday morning, huh? Yeah, I see you, Ben. Hold on. Whoa, Reese, I know that's not you at the back. Should we play the song for him, Josephine?
Oh, yes, please. Play that tune.
Don't make me play it for you, Reese. I'm good. This one's for you, yeah? Not today. Come on, dig deep now. You love it, Reese. We love it. Come on. You're killing me. Yes, Reese.
Adidas and Common Goal have partnered again for Move the Planet. Each project is unique to their community needs.
Es importante educarnos en sostenibilidad.
Οι περισσότεροι από τους διαμένοντες εδώ δεν είναι καθόλου εξοικειωμένοι με τις έννοιες της ανακύκλωσης ή της βιωσιμότητας.
Es hacer que más niños, niñas, adolescentes y jóvenes tengan esta posibilidad de acceso a esta educación.
Sports acts as a universal language here.
I coach soccer, but there's also the education side. So you're not only focused on sports, but also the life skill sessions.
Plastic is orange.
What is rewarding about these projects is being able to tangibly see the impact on individuals and communities.
Yes, Adidas, a company that gets involved at community level, where and when it can. Of course, a lot of that down to the sprints that sorted out this pack that were together. Gemachu, well, he pushed on with those early kilometres, 2:42, 2:38, 2:44, 2:41. Got a 5k in 13:29, but he never really could shake off the attentions of a chasing quartet. They were always there or thereabouts. The gap never got more than about 20, 25 metres. And then through the second half, they all started focusing on the finish. Rodrigo Quezada, a man with oozing confidence, super consistent, massive win at the Prague half marathon 3 weeks ago. He couldn't match the sprint finish of Berhanu Belu of Bahrain, who took it there. The first three, well, you could almost have thrown a blanket over them, and you could see there Quezada punching the air in second place. He'd been defeated, but he knew he'd run a fabulously quick time, and indeed a personal best for him there, with by a couple of seconds from his time here in Herzogenaurach 3 years ago. Well, the temperature said it will climb. It was 9 degrees about 45 minutes ago. It's climbed 1 whole degree. It is pretty cool here, I have to tell you. Perhaps a little bit cooler than ideal. That wind, 11 kilometers per hour from the southwest. Well, that is, again, not ideal. So the conditions are good, but not super good. It didn't stop the men, though, producing really quick times, something special. And I wonder if we can see the same in the women's 10K, which comes up next. It's due underway in about 10 minutes' time.
All right, everybody, I'm down here with two of the happiest guys, always joking around and having fun, but Bjorn Gulden, the CEO of Adidas, and also Haile Gebrselassie, one of the most legendary athletes of all time, Olympic champion, world record holder. You two are having a fun time out here. Bjorn, let's start with you. What does it mean to have this event right here on your campus?
Well, I think it's unbelievable. This is sport, this is Adidas. We bring the best people to the best campus, and we have fun.
You sure do have fun. Haile, we just saw one of the top 10 fastest 10Ks ever run right here. What did that mean to you, and where were you watching it?
I was watching in front of that screen. It was amazing. Well, I knew it, just from the beginning, what they did, especially Berhanu Belu. He's a really very smart runner. Yeah. And he broke a national record, and it was fantastic.
He really ran a smart race. You as an athlete, I mean, do you miss this? Do you miss the nerves? Do you miss the excitement?
Yeah, a lot. I wish, to be one of the competitors today, but didn't work. I mean, okay, no problem. After a few hours, me and we'll be together.
You and Bjorn having fun. Bjorn, tell us what this event means to Adidas.
Well, as I said, Adidas is about sports. This is the home of Adidas, the home of sports, and bringing all these runners and the Adidas family here means everything.
Well, you being a leader here, you are the CEO of Adidas. That is something that it's heavy on your shoulders at times, but it's also so fun. Can you say what it means to you when you walk out here? 345,000 people are doing the virtual run today. That's pretty special.
Well, I think the feeling is goosebumps, because I think in this complicated world where there's so many issues, it shows how important sports is. And I really think that sports is the thing that brings us together across all kinds of stuff. And then being in charge of Adidas is then, a gift. I also would like to be an athlete like Haile. But we will limp through the 5K in a couple of hours, right?
Yeah, both of us in trouble. Both of us, had surgery of knee.
Yes.
But it's going to be interesting race between you and me.
Oh, my goodness. I love it. Well, you know what, Haile? We have a little bit of coverage of Agnes training back in Kenya, getting ready for this race today. So can you walk us through what she's thinking when she heads to the start line here in the women's 10K coming up, and also what you thought of when you were training for events like this?
Well, you see, a race of a day, the most important part. But, for us as an athlete, before that race, it should be, something very serious. And today, now, the win, not so much, and everything is perfect. And they can, we can see something of already one national record is happening, and plus, the 10 or the 8 fastest 10K today. That is amazing.
Hey, and then don't forget the shoes.
Of course. Without that, impossible. Those athletes, doing, this is a track, almost a track race. run under 27 minutes is amazing. That's thank you very much, Adidas, to provide, such a wonderful technology. But it should have been, just when I ran, 15 years ago.
I wish I had the shoes too back then.
Well, they would have been, under 2 hours.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. Well, thank you both so much for today. And now we are getting ready to honor Agnes Tirrup in the 10K for women. A woman that ran the world record right here on this campus, only to be brutally murdered 3 weeks later.
Hey, it's Ayo.
Hey, it's Anjani.
Good to hear from you.
It's Lynn. How are you doing?
Hey, it's Sandy. How are you doing?
Yes, Agnes Tirrup set a world record here back in September 2021. In the first edition of the Road to Records, she died just a month later back in Kenya, murdered by her husband. She was an extraordinary talent. Bronze medalist in the World Championships 10,000 meters in 2017 and 2019. And Kenyan athletes setting up
kilometer race at the awards.
Tirrup's Angels, an NGO fighting gender-based violence in Kenya and beyond, soon after a tragic death.
54 seconds. Congratulations to Wizera Rodriguez.
Well, let's have a look at the presentations for this first event, the men's 10K. What a race it was. And in third place, Rodriguez Wizera to the right of picture there, the early leader. Taking second, Kemechu Dida. Both of them run 26:54 for Burundi and Ethiopia respectively. But the champion from Bahrain, a former Ethiopian in Bahrain since October 2014, Berhanu Bailu there. And the same time as the second and third places, 26:54. What a kick he produced, that speed!
In 26 minutes and 54 seconds, from Ethiopia,
9 kilometers of hard running.
Dida. And the winner of the 10K race in men's category,
Dida second,
finishing in 26 minutes and 54 seconds, new national record. Please welcome Mr. Balev Berhanu.
Berhanu there setting an area record for the Middle East, a national record for Bahrain, 26:54. Only won by a metre or so, but a centimetre is enough.
Executive Director, Lebenshilfe Erlangen-Höchstadt, will handing over.
Don't see that too often. I suspect that is unique. First, second and third, under 27 minutes, all on 26:54. Quite fabulous racing. And that women's 10K, by the way, is now 4 minutes away. We will introduce you to the athletes in that one, of course, just before the gun goes to set them off on their identical journey. Almost 8 laps of this Adidas campus in Herzogenaurach. Well, I'm joined in the commentary box as we see these first 3 in that men's 10K, the first of 6 races, celebrate their fabulous race, their fast times by Carrie Tollefson, who we've seen out there chatting to one or two guests over the last 45 minutes or so. Carrie, it's not an ideal morning, it's pretty cool, there's been a bit of breeze, but actually, do you know what, I reckon in the last 5 or 10 minutes the breeze has eased off. There's no wind now, is there?
There really is no wind out there, to be honest, at least where I've been standing, but it actually is very nice weather to run. It's a little chill when you're standing, but the athletes seem very calm and collected when they're finished, and it's going to be an exciting race here.
It is going to be an exciting race, and certainly, I don't know whether it's because I'm raised a metre in the air or what, but there was wind here just before the start of that men's 10K. There's no wind now, but just before the start of this women's 10K. And Agnes Ngetic is very much the athlete that so many eyes are on. She holds the world record from January last year in Valencia. She ran 28:46, and there is talk of her being in fine fettle. There she is. She wears 2:01. She's the defending champion, 30:03. She won last year by 36 seconds, Carrie. Yeah. Very comfortable victory indeed. And we know she's in good shape, don't we? I mean, my notes say she could attack the world record here, but she's running the Grand Slam track series, that Michael Johnson innovative series of track races only, 3 weeks or so ago in Kingston, Jamaica. She ran really well in that, so we know her form is good on the shorter distances.
Well, she has such range. I mean, she's run 8:28, and that was a new PB, as you said, at the Grand Slam track just a month ago. And now she's been able to actually have such great strategy as well.
So here we go, the athletes on the start line then. Well, Gumwood Gebrizer is a 29:34 performer, 7th here last year, but she's in better shape than that now, is the 23-year-old. She was second in Valencia just on the 12th of January this year. Lost by 4 seconds to Heli Lobon, but Agnes Ngetic is out there. She is the world record holder. She's the defending champion. Second in the Grand Slam track, 3,000 3 weeks ago, and second in the 5,000. Won the Valencia half marathon on the 27th of October in 63:04. That was a national record for Kenya. She's the second fastest in history at the half marathon, is Agnes Ngetic. Carrie, I wonder if the pacemakers will be able to help her for very long here, because the tempo she's going to be laying down.
Well, I would think they could get to 3K, but she is going to be going for it, and she looks like she is ready. And we've seen that now over the past year or two. She's not afraid to lead races and to really set her own pace.
No, absolutely right. Pacemakers wearing all black. That's Joyce Jepkoskai B. Watts and Monica Jeptarus. Let's hope they can do a good job here. She has had some frustrating experiences, Ngetic, over the last couple of years. Back in September 23, 18 months or so ago, in Brasov, Romania, she set what she thought was a world record of 29:24, beating Agnes Tirop's 30:01 in a women's-only race. But it was 25 meters short. Now that converts to about 4 seconds, and she broke the world record, or would have broken the world record by a massive margin, by over half a minute. So it was incredibly frustrating for her. The Brasov race organizer's good friend, he won't get that wrong again, and of course those races coming up in September this year. But she has it all, doesn't she, Ngetic? When you think of her half marathon strength, the second fastest in history at the half marathon, you look at her middle distance speed on the track. She ran 8:28 just 3 weeks ago in Kingston, Jamaica for 3,000. She comes here perfectly positioned to run a great 10K.
I really think she has that sharpness of the shorter distances, but also she has that strength from the half marathon that she ran so well. But you know what I love about her story is that her mother was a really good runner, and that Agnes loves different sports, so she's very agile. She played volleyball and basketball and different things, so she's a little bit different than some of the East African athletes that have really only run. And I love that she is sharing that, and she tells that she just has this love of sport. She is so competitive over all different types of sport. It's really neat.
Well, it always helps if your mummy or dad was a great sportsman in the sport that you take up yourself. It's like going home to a training camp almost as a kid. And she hits the front already there, and Ngetic isn't happy with the pace of the pacemakers. We've got 2 minutes on the clock, and she's gone past the pacemakers. That's extraordinary.
You said it.
New finish line.
I thought they would give her a little bit of a run for her money for the first 3K, but nope, she is getting after it.
The pacemakers here weren't able to hold the front for more than 2 minutes before Ngetic hit the front. But when she ran that 28:46 in Valencia in October last year, not long ago, she improved the world record by 28 seconds, which was held by Yahualo of Ethiopia. and she is dragging this field out at a super fast tempo. They've completed that first three-quarter lap. They come past us now, here by the finish line, with 7 laps to go. And she's leading them a merry dance already. This is a super strong field. I mean, Gebra's there is a 29:34 performer. Belaina, a 30-minute exactly performer. And yet, she's reducing it to single file with only 3 minutes on the clock. 2:52, that first kilometre. 28:38 is the projected finishing time.
Well, that's where her 8:28 3K PB that we just talked about, that came in just a few weeks ago. That's where you're getting off the line, getting out hard. It feels natural right now. But, you know, we saw on the men's side a couple different changes of leads, and that pack came together. So lots can happen over 10K.
Well, it can, but look how quickly there's been separation here. 5 of them away with 3.5 minutes on the clock. This is the slight uphill section. There's a very slight rise, about 3 meters from the finish line to the highest point on this circuit. That's about 9 feet, 9.5 feet. But Ngetic here is long and lean, uses the arms really powerfully. She's by far the tallest of this quartet that have got away, Carrie. And it's a perfect combination, isn't it? That mental aggression, that fabulous speed and strength, and those long, long legs.
Yeah, she really looks like she's putting it to them early on here, but you can see that low arm carriage, but she does swing those arms. But I love watching these athletes around the campus this week. We've been able to interact with them a little bit. They're all smiles, having so much fun, being able to come to the Adidas headquarters. They get education while they're here. They learn about different nutritional benefits of different products and hydration products. They see all the gear. They get some testing done. I mean, it's a really, really fun weekend for these athletes. And then to top it off, they get to be out here with all these community runners and knowing that there's 345,000 athletes around the world running with them. It's a pretty spectacular weekend.
Well, speaking of spectacular, Ngetic is away, and only Alimadis has been able to go with her at the moment. Alimadis Eyayu, the 25-year-old Ethiopian, is a 31:39 performer. On paper, she's well, almost 3 minutes slower than Ngetic, so this may be optimistic chasing from Alimadis Eyayu. Maybe she's on the way to a big personal best here, but Ngetic wants that separation. It looks like she wants isolation so she can get into her own sort of psychological zone.
Well, and everyone thinks about Agnes Tirop when they are running this race, and we know that Agnes Ngetic really would love to have that world record in honor of her. You know, there's so much heartache when you think about what happened to Agnes Tirop at such a young age, with her husband killing her 3 weeks after setting that world record. So when they come here, they run in honor of Agnes Tirop, and there's a little bit more to it. But $50,000 to get that world record, there's a little more added bonus. They talked about it yesterday at the athlete meeting, that they were going to raise that. So there's a lot on the line.
There is a lot on the line. 2:54, that second kilometre. She is still steaming along 28:48, that projected winning time now. Her world record is 28:46, so she needs to maintain this. She comes down in front of us now with 6 laps to run, and she has got that isolation she wanted. She knew this was going to be the case. When you are redlining like this, when you are running at world record tempo, there's a really good chance, it's highly likely, you will be on your own. And she's going to be on her own now, I think, for the next 6 laps.
Well, one of the nice things that she does have is she can chase that lead vehicle, who will give her her kilometer splits and the projected pace. So she can watch that. It doesn't make it any easier, but it does help her when she doesn't have any pacers around her.
Well, some athletes prefer to run in a pack. Some athletes love to be out there. They love the loneliness of the long-distance runner. And Ngetic here is both a great racer, but clearly, from what we're seeing here today, she's going to have to enhance her reputation as a great time trialist.
League of her own. I mean, really.
And it's interesting you mentioned Agnes Tirop being the late Agnes Tirop, and former world record holder, being an inspiration because she came from very humble backgrounds. Most of these athletes come from very, very humble backgrounds. She was from a family of 10 children, the 7th of 10 children, Agnes Tirop. She ran 5K to and from school with her brother Martin every morning. And I'm sure that Agnes Nigetic here, same first name, will be aware of her link to Agnes Tirop. What an inspiration she has been.
Oh, for sure. And she's spoken about that. And, you know, I think everyone here at the Adidas family feels that pain that we don't have Agnes Tirop here. And so everyone runs with her, especially on these events where Agnes Tirop ran so well.
Well, that last kilometre, third kilometre, 2:57, a 29-minute finishing time projected. So she's slipped a little bit outside her world record tempo. That's not to say she can't up it now as she comes into this middle section of the race. 3K done, 7K to go, all on her own. The gap behind her, yawning gap. She's stretching out to the others. She's a very energetic runner, Carrie. When you look at the way her arms flap across her body, left to right, it looks like a lot of sort of wasted energy, but actually everybody has their own way of running. There is no perfect way of running. And if that's what keeps her body in perfect synchronicity, so perfect balance, so to speak, then that's good for her.
Well, you don't see much movement from her waist down. It's just in her arms, and I think that is pretty efficient the way that she can run. But look at her stride, it's so beautiful. She has those long legs, and she really covers the distance with grace.
Here she comes again, down the home straight with those big crowds roaring her on. She gets this section of about 200 or 300 meters of intense noise on each circuit, and then she heads out again. Remember, the full lap is almost 1,300 meters, so she gets about 300 meters of intense noise, then about a kilometer of peace and quiet, and that lonely mindset where she has to focus on the high level of work that she's putting out. You're right about that, chasing the car there, that vehicle. It's good to have that company almost for her.
Well, you know, when I used to race, you could smell the exhaust of the lead vehicle, and that smell almost made me know that I was in the position I wanted to be, right in front. So I know that these athletes don't have the smell of the exhaust anymore, but they do have the camera and the projected time, and most definitely that keeps them on an honest effort.
Now, Agnes, if you were to sit her down and have a quick chat with her now for a little while, she'd probably say it's a little bit cooler than I would have liked. 10 degrees centigrade, I'd preferred sort of 13 to 15, something like that. But otherwise, conditions here are just about perfect. These corners have been smoothed out a bit from previous years. This is a new circuit, so we can't call it we can call it an event record, but it's a new course record that she will set this morning, in effect, a unique circuit. But this is the tough part, I guess. You know, we all enjoy the adulation from crowds when you've raced in the past, Carrie. You know, when you're running through crowds in a road race or in a stadium, that crowd noise elevates the adrenaline levels and it gives you that extra push. Here, this is tough when it's just absolute silence, and virtually the only noise she can hear is her own feet hitting the ground.
But I do think that this is an emotional run for her, to know that she is running for her friend who was tragically taken. And, you know, I do think maybe sometimes when you have that quiet, you can get into that mode. And I don't know if she's so much thinking about Agnes Tirop right now, but she knows that this is a huge race for her and a huge opportunity.
Well, that fourth kilometre at 2:57 as well. Projected time now 29:08, so it's slowed a little bit. She really does need to double down here if she is to get close to that world record of hers. I mean, if she were to get down towards 29 minutes running on her own like this, that would be extraordinary. But she has, I think, shown that she's keen to attack her own world record here this morning.
Yeah, 28:46 is that world record that she has. Yes, it would be hard right now, but this is where she needs to start moving a little bit. She needs to start taking those tangents to the turns, having a little bit of fun mentally with her own racing right here. And you could see her lean into those turns, Tim. She really takes them hard, and she almost wakes up just a little bit.
Well, she has prepared for this just about perfectly. You know, when you think of her super fast half marathon back in October, then she went back in and put in several months hard work, came out and raced in those track races in Kingston. 8:28 for 3,000 is right up there as a top-notch 3,000 meter time. The 5,000 was more of a tactical affair in Kingston, but it shows she's got that track speed in her legs. That's what you want. You want to have that speed in your legs where you can turn over, and in this sort of tempo, she's feeling quite relaxed, but at the same time have that strength from the half marathon. And if you can concoct that almost like a witch's brew and stir it up perfectly, you come out with a perfect result.
Yeah, I actually love what she did with the half marathon in October. Then she did a cross-country race, and then she turned her attention to the track. Now she's back to the road. This is what we need in athletes, versatile athletes that are willing and excited to tackle world records and winning of races. Here she comes.
Well, this will be 5K very soon. About 100 meters to the 5K mark, goes through that finish line. She's got 5 laps to go. This is very close to 5K. What sort of time is going to be spat out here? If she's going to hit her own world record, she needs something like 14:20, 14:25, not much slower. And you can see the clock there, bottom right of your screen. It is gone past that now. Now, how far past it is it going to be? It's going to be around 14:30, that 5K split. Woo! So not far outside what is needed. There's still a possibility here. And don't forget, in the men's race, they ran a quicker second half. They really did wind it up over the last lap and make up quite a few seconds, and that is possible. So 5K here, 14:36. So that's obviously 29:12 tempo, but that is that world record is still possible because she has the capacity, she has the leg speed and the strength to run negative splits here, a quicker second half.
Well, and she looked so good when we were in Jamaica. She looked great over that 3K, and then she led most of the 5,000 meters on the track, only to be outkicked just in the final meters. But this woman is so strong, but she is sharp, and she will have to use this here to really kind of propel herself. I mean, this is all, she's all alone. She's in no woman's land, you know, basically on her own.
I love that, no woman's land.
Yeah.
You're so correct.
I know.
Well, you know what? When she set that world record in Valencia in January last year, 28:46, she broke the 5K world record en route. She ran 14:13 at 5K. Woo! She's gone through just now in 14:36. So if she is to get near her own world record figures, it's going to have to be a very, very different race. The complexion of her race here today, 14:36. She's some 23 seconds slower than she ran in Valencia. So she needs to run a super quick next 5K. What, about 4.5 now? So here she is in the 6th kilometer. Agnes Nigetic, world record holder under all conditions, 28:46 in Valencia last year in January. That was in a mixed race, though. The record she's trying to break here is a women's only world record, and that does belong to Agnes Tirop, that 30:01.
30:01, I think that is the big mark right now that we need to keep our eye on, because she is on that pace.
Well, she is. We've been talking about the extreme end of record setting, and of course, if you're not familiar with it, for some years now, World Athletics, IAAF as was, have been setting out the agenda for record setting on the women's side, and there are of course mixed races where women can get help in a road race, be it 5K or any distance right through to a marathon. They can get help from male pacemakers or men around them. Or, of course, the alternative is like this, where there are no men in the race. The women are having to make the tempo themselves. Very few world-class pacemakers can live with a tempo of a world record in the marathon or half marathon or even 10K for very long. And hence, this is a women-only record. And she comes through in front of us now with 4 laps to go. And she is flying. And what's her last kilometre been? 2:59, so it's slowed a little bit, 29:17. That projected winning time. It would still be a women's only world record by a massive margin. But I know she will be testing herself here by her own standards, I think, you know, and that means 28:46. Now, I don't know if she can get down to 29 minutes. That would be quite incredible running on her own.
Yeah, I definitely think that she is thinking about her world record, but also that 30:01 is big on her mind as we watch some of the spectators trying to keep up with her just for a little bit on this side of the road. But it is so much fun. The atmosphere out here, Tim, is just booming, and you can see all of the Adidas employees out here as well. Like, this is really cool for them to see all the hard work that goes in behind the scenes come to fruition today.
Well, and you know what? Now we're getting into the real business end of this. So women's 10K, a world record attempt by Agnes Ngedic. So the sun has broken up for the first time. The grey clouds that we woke up to a few hours ago have gradually burnt off. There's still a lot of cloud cover above us, but it's white clouds and it's much thinner, and there's blue sky showing through. And now Ngedic will feel that sun on her back, and that'll warm her up a little bit and make her feel like she's back home, a little bit more like familiar territory.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, she's going to hear the people yelling for her, and you know, right now in this quiet time, she is going to have to turn to that mental training that she does back home on the roads of Kenya. But yeah, she looks smooth, doesn't she? Just real easy, even though there's some intensity behind each and every step.
Well, she's familiar with the circuit now. She knows every twist and turn. She knows to get the angles right, the leaning in at each corner. This one, for example. And you can see that strip of road there has been built specifically to make these corners smoother. They used to go further to the left there and take a sharp right-hand turn. But Agnes Ngedic enjoying a new circuit, a faster circuit in Herzogenaurach. Glorious isolation for her. When she comes through, she'll have 3 laps to run. 3 lonely laps, and this is a very hard way of setting a record.
Yeah, but I think she knew coming in, you know, there's a lot of talk with her coach or her training partners and just people around her, knowing that this was going to most likely be the case. So having to prep yourself for that. But lots of incentives here, being in front of the people that give your career such great opportunity like her sponsor does. And, you know, it's very exciting for the athletes to be here.
Well, she's on 29:18 schedule. Well, that would be a world record for a women-only race. Gebrise Germowit back in 2nd place. Ngedic back in 3rd. That last kilometre at 2:58.27, 29:21 is the projected finishing time now. It's still a massive world record. This would be setting here.
So many athletes run with a heavy heart, knowing what happened to Agnes Tirop and many other female athletes from around the world. Gender-based violence has got to stop, and so these women run with that on their hearts and they run with that on their minds, and we know that Agnes Ngedic is really thinking about Agnes Tirop, as we've mentioned plenty of times today, but I don't think that this record is, it's so important for these athletes to not only break it, but because they want to honor Agnes Tirop. I really believe that's why they run so hard here.
Absolutely. She's come through in front of us again here with 2 laps to go. These laps are clicking by so fast. The 8-kilometre mark, a minute or 2 away. Yes, so many of these top athletes live in E10, and in May last year, Tirop's Angels opened a shelter in E10 for victims of violence and abuse, and certainly Agnes Ngedic here will be very aware of that.
Wonderful, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay.
And maybe drawing inspiration from Agnes Tirop's world record here, 30:01. Sure, ran here. Certainly that 30:01 Agnes Tirop. Back on the 12th of September 2021 in the first edition of this meeting, when it was a September meeting, an end of summer meeting. Well, this possibly a better time for these athletes without the fatigue of a long track season in their legs. There's freshness in their legs, I guess you could say, Carrie. And, you know, she's had a good winter's work after that half marathon, second fastest half marathon ever. So she is running with a freshness here, and it's almost palpable, isn't it? Because the turnover, the cadence is extraordinary.
Well, and this year is a big year for her. Last year she did not make that Olympic team, so she had to pull out of the Olympic trials, which they ran in Eugene, Oregon in the States, and with injury. And so she wants to go back to the World Champs after finishing 6th in 2023 in Budapest. She now is thinking about that this year. There's a lot going on this year, but I love how she's really done it. We've talked about it, but going from the half marathon to cross country to track, now to the roads, like, she's just doing all of these different races and on different terrain. She's really building this base, and she is excited for the World Champs next fall.
Well, the 8K marker is coming up. Yes, that was a disappointment for her to miss out on the Olympics, and only 6th in the World Championships, 10,000 in Budapest, as you said. So,
So
in major
very young.
championships.
She's so very young still.
I know.
Though.
She's 24 now.
Yeah.
She was 22 in
Exactly.
Budapest.
So big future ahead.
Another 2:59. She's been consistent
Woo!
these last few kilometers. 29:24. She's still on schedule for a massive women's-only world record here as Agnes Nigetic. And I guess this would complete the set, wouldn't it? Because if you're a great racer on the women's side, you want to hold the world record under any conditions. So mixed race and women-only race. And this sort of completes the pair.
But you've said it, a women-only race all alone like this is very, very tough. So she has to keep the pressure on. She is sliding just a little bit, so she needs to keep that pressure on. But once we bring her around here, the crowds will get her going again. And, you know, any athlete, whether it's one lap that's 400 meters or one lap that's 1,200 meters or whatever, the athletes know that, so they get extra excited for that final push.
Well, she's halfway around this penultimate circuit now. When she comes through, I think she'll have one lap to run. And Agnes Nigetic here starts to catch athletes, to lap athletes, and these are world-class athletes, good runners. You know, because she's running down around 29 minutes tempo, I mean, she's passing athletes who are running around 32 minutes.
Yep, and you know what? That gets you excited too. Anytime you go past somebody, it's like a game. You try to, you know, add a point, do whatever you can mentally to get by. But now you can see her. She's starting to move a little bit here.
This is where she has to double down psychologically to really put in a lot of effort and focus, because she is hurting, there's no doubt about it. She may be a superstar, she may be a great champion and world record holder, but this hurts. She is working intensely hard, and she's got to focus so much now as she comes through with one lap to run.
Tim, listen to that crowd.
They are loving it here. Aficionados of great road racing here in Herzogenaurach at Adidas headquarters on the campus. She runs through less than one lap to run now for Agnes Nigetic. Still only 24, getting stronger every year, still learning all the time about the nuances of gauging her effort right throughout a 10K race. This race, remember, is almost 8 laps of the circuit here in Herzogenaurach. It's a different circuit to the one where she won last year. She ran 30:03. She won by 36 seconds last year. She destroyed the field last year, just as she's doing today. But this looks to be, well, something close to a minute faster.
I love it. I know that she is a different woman this year. She came in here with a different set of goals. She does want this women's only record, and it looks like she's going to get it.
It does indeed, yeah. She continues to lap athletes here. That gives her little targets, intermittent targets on this final circuit. She negotiates each of these corners with such ease, does Agnes Nigetic here. She has run 28:46. She knows in a mixed race she can go much quicker than this, but this is all on her own. This is the hard way to do it. 2:59, that 9th kilometre. 29:27 for Nigetic. And on the clock, 27 minutes now. She has about 2 minutes to run. And those last 3 kilometers, 2:58, 2:59, 2:59. Every single kilometre under 3 minutes here today. That has been a very significant statistic as well. When you think that Agnes Tirop's world record was 30:01, she's maintaining a tempo every single kilometre, and their opening kilometre told the story, laid down the story, because it was 2:52, the fastest, but every single kilometre under 3 minutes.
Yeah, she was hot off the gun. She knew what she wanted today, and she's clearly running with purpose. Everyone has Agnes Tirop on their mind, but right now it is all Agnes Nigetic.
Well, we think she's going to run around 29:25 here today, something like that. It'll be a world record for in a women's only 10K by over 30 seconds. She's got, what, about a minute and a half to go. She is working super hard now. Those arms swinging backwards and forwards across her torso. A lot of coaches would say, well, that's not perfect aesthetically, that's not good biomechanics. It absolutely doesn't matter, because if that balances out the movement in the rest of her body, and her legs in particular, and the hips, the way she moves, then it was perfect for her, and that means it's perfect for a top performance. And how can you criticize a world record holder?
I don't think we can say much. She looks like she is doing it just the way that she wants to do it, and we are watching history in the making right now here, folks.
We are indeed. This is a women's only world record in the making. There is about a minute to go. Agnes Nigetic, the 24-year-old, who in a mixed race in Valencia in last October ran 28:46. That was a 28-second improvement upon the mixed race world record, a 10K with men. Well, this is going to be a more than a half-minute improvement on the women-only world record. The crowd begin to roar. The announcer near the finish line is making them aware. She comes into the finishing straight now, and Agnes Nigetic gives it everything. 101% effort now. She drives for the line, just outside 29 minutes on the clock. The world record that she's trying to break is 30:01, and Agnes Nigetic comes towards the line. 29:15 on the clock at the moment. She has destroyed this field. She's lapped several athletes. This has been an astonishing run. It is indeed a world record here at the Adizero 2025. Race to records, and she has done it. Unofficially there, Agnes Nigetic, around 29:23, something like that. She collapses to her knees just past the finish line. That has been extraordinary. Nobody in the history of women's 10K running has got anywhere close to that sort of time. It'll be the first time ever 30 minutes has been broken in a women-only 10K. And from Agnes Nigetic, that is quite supreme. She has done it. Yet another world record, the 4th world record ever here at the Race to Records in this 5th edition in 2025. And that finishing time, the official time, 29:22. It is indeed a women-only 10K world record. And the celebrations begin. And that Kenyan flag is held aloft so proudly. And the crowd lapping it up. They've been informed of the fact they've been witnessing history in the making. Absolutely magnificent stuff from Agnes Nigetic. 29:22. And how much quicker should she have gone if she'd had good pacemakers through the first half? She had to lead. She took the lead 2 minutes in. Can you believe it? So she has led for 27 minutes. All focus upon her. A hug from Spencer Nell there. And the world record has been smashed here. Well, there's a real buzz here and confirmation of a new world record by Agnes Nigetic, 29:27. She wins by over a minute from Fentai Belane. That's a great run from Belane. 30:30, just over a minute down. And in third place, Getachew. And she too running superbly here this morning to make the rostrum. Belane's time, 30:30, behind Negetic's 29:22, and Senia Geticiu's time, 30:31. It's very tight between those two for second and third. And in fourth place, Germowit Gebrezer of Ethiopia again, 30:41. Ethiopians in second, third, fourth, fifth and sixth here this morning. 30:41 in fourth place, the time of Gebrezer. Well, here it is. This is the way it was laid out earlier on. The pacemakers tried to do their job, but well, Agnes Negetic was so hungry for it, she took the lead after just 2 minutes. Pacemakers couldn't maintain a tempo she wanted. She has retained her Road to Records title from last year. Last year 30:03, today 29:22. Which has improved by 41 seconds on a winning time last year, but more importantly has set a new world record here this morning in a women's only 10k, 29:22, destroying this field, destroying the record of the magnificent Agnes Tirop, set back here in 2021. And there's a nice symmetry, isn't there, about the winner crossing the line here in a new world record, also being called Agnes. Well, it was a very different race to 28:46 in Valencia. That was in a mixed race where she won by 11 seconds. But Carrie is with the winner.
Agnes world record here. You have two of them now in the 10K, women's only and mixed race. How excited are you?
I'm so excited. I think I don't have any word to say. I'm so excited. And I didn't expect this. Since last year, I missed it with 2 seconds. So today I was like, oh, let me try today. Maybe I can make it. I can push alone and make it. I'm so proud of myself. And I'm so happy. I thank God I finished with world records. So it's unbelievable.
You know, you didn't make that Olympic team last year, but you have been on fire on the roads ever since. Talk about the future here. You have the world champs coming up. Are you excited about that?
I'm so excited. Since I missed the Olympics, so this year I want to return all I missed from Olympics. So I'm fighting for World Championship, and this is now the start. So I'm so happy.
Oh my goodness. So what do you have in your hand here?
Oh, I have the Takumi Senten with 29:27 world record.
29:27 world record, everybody. Give it up for Agnes. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Wasn't that significant? There's a burning fire in her belly, frustration at missing out on the Olympics last year, and she's saying she wants to go to Tokyo and make up for it. She wants to get everything back that she missed last year by not going to Paris. There's the schedule from this morning. We've had the 10k men and the 10k women, the 5k women and 5k men coming up, and then the women's and men's miles will conclude the racing here today. The next race, the 5k women, is at 10:40, so in 15 minutes time. If those of you watching want to go and put the kettle on and get yourself a coffee or a tea or something cool perhaps. World record. Two beautiful words in the world of sport, and this morning here in the world of racing, the world of Road to Records at Herzogenaurach at the Adidas campus. What a glorious sight. And the sun continues to beat down, it continues to burn off the clouds above us, and every couple of minutes I look up, there's a little bit more blue sky showing, slightly less white cloud. It's warming up, there's no doubt about that. It was distinctly cool here an hour and a half or so ago at 9 degrees. Now it is much, much more friendly.